Welcome to the Second to None podcast, the space for real dialogue, for wrestling with complexity, and for stories that don't fit into easy boxes. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe wherever you are listening: Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribing helps us bring more voices, more perspectives, more depth your way. Today, we turn our attention to a rising, polarizing, and deeply compelling figure in American politics, Jasmine Crockett, a congresswoman, a lawyer, an activist, and a force. In this episode, we'll walk through her background, family, faith, career, controversies, policies, praise, criticisms, and leave you asking, who is she really? Early life and family roots. Jasmine Felicia Crockett was born on March 29, 1981, in St. Louis, Missouri. She came from a home grounded in service and faith. Her father, Joseph Crockett, was both a teacher and a preacher, a man who instilled discipline, moral grounding, and a sense of purpose in young Jasmine. Her mother, Gwen Crockett, worked as a postal worker, steady, hardworking, a figure of quiet strength. Growing up in Missouri, Jasmine's life was shaped by the religious surroundings of her family. Her father's role in the church was central, not just weekly sermons, but community leadership, pastoral counsel, mentorship. She often credits him and the church as foundational to her moral convictions, her sense of duty, and her willingness to stand on principles. As a youth, she attended schools in St. Louis, Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, Rosati Kane Academy, and others. She was ambitious early. In her teenage years, she considered paths like becoming a healthcare professional, maybe anesthesiology, even accounting. But life's experiences nudged her elsewhere. In college, she enrolled at Rhodes College, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration in 2003. During her time there, she faced and witnessed racial tension and injustice. Hate mail, vandalism targeting Black students, a school-struggled response. She has said those moments crystallized her hunger for law and justice. She began law training at Texas Southern University's Thurgood Marshall School of Law, then transferred and completed her Juris Doctorate at the University of Houston Law Center in 2006. That legal foundation set the stage for a career deeply embedded in advocacy, defense, and public service. Early legal and advocacy work. After law school, Jasmine Crockett took on the mantle of public defender in Bowie County, Texas. She defended those who often had no voice, represented clients in criminal cases, and worked directly with underserved communities. This was not glamour law. It was gritty, often uphill, confronting systemic inequalities. She later moved into private practice and founded or co-founded firms that handled civil rights cases, personal injury, criminal defense, and pro bono work for activists. During major protest periods, particularly in the wake of high-profile police violence and racial justice unrest, her offices stepped in for Black Lives Matter protesters and for individuals caught in the crossfire of demonstrative tensions. Her reputation in legal circles grew. She became active in bar associations, the National Bar Association, the Dallas Black Criminal Bar Association, and others. She also cultivated networks in community activism, civic organizations, and faith-based outreach. Entry into electoral politics, Texas House. In 2020, the Texas House District 100 seat opened up when the prior representative moved to serve as Dallas mayor. Jasmine entered that political arena. She challenged Lorraine Barabal in the Democratic primary, won a tight runoff, and then won unopposed in the general election. She was sworn in January 2021, entering the Texas House in what many called one of the most conservative sessions in recent memory. As a freshman, she pushed hard, filed more bills than many rookies, joined coalition efforts, and became known for an aggressive, bold style. She was a founding member of the Texas Progressive Caucus and also the Texas Caucus on Climate, Energy, and Environment. Her legislative positions included criminal justice reforms, voting rights issues, environmental policy, equity in education, and protections for marginalized communities. She was also part of the quorum break in 2021, a dramatic move by Texas Democrats to halt legislation that would restrict voting rights. This period built her brand: unafraid, vocal, committed to principle. But it also painted early lines of criticism. Some said her style was too confronting. Others said she lacked the seniority or compromise skills to influence big wins. Congressional rise, U.S. House. After serving her term in the Texas House, Jasmine turned her gaze to national office. In 2021, Rep. Iddy Bernice Johnson, long-serving Congresswoman for Texas's 30th District, announced she would not seek a re-election. Jasmine threw her hat in the ring, secured her endorsement, and made a strong run. She won the Democratic primary after a runoff and then the general election in November 2022. She assumed her seat in January 2023. Her district spans portions of Dallas and Tarrant counties, with a majority-minority demographic and a political landscape that demands responsiveness to urban issues, racial justice, infrastructure, and more. In Congress, she did not shy away from friction. In an impeachment hearing, she publicly confronted Republican members, referencing past controversies and holding them to account. She called out hypocrisy, used bold visuals in her arguments, and quickly became known for viral moments. She was selected as the freshman class representative for incoming Democrats, a liaison between new members in party leadership. She won re-election in 2024. She sought leadership roles, including a bid for ranking member on oversight and government reform, though she later withdrew after low support in internal votes. Positions, strengths, and achievements. Supporters see Jasmine Crockett as a voice for the unheard. She's praised for courage. She doesn't back down from confrontation or calling out powerful figures. Authenticity. Her speeches often feel unfiltered, from the gut, resonating especially with younger and minority constituents. Advocacy roots. Her legal background gives her credibility in civil rights and justice reform battles. Progressive alignment. She is part of the Progressive Caucus, pushes for bold changes, and challenges incrementalism. Community vision. Her focus includes health equity, environmental justice, gun violence prevention, voting rights, economic opportunity, and equity in education. She has filed legislation on criminal justice reform, has spoken out on police accountability, and has been vocal on social media and in public forums. She also draws praise for forging connections across districts in Dallas and Tarrant counties, bringing constituent services to neighborhoods sometimes forgotten in broader congressional battles. Controversies, critiques, and challenges. But every figure, with boldness, draws criticism. For Jasmine Crockett, critiques come from multiple angles. Aggressive rhetoric. Some say her tone in Congress is too combative, that she's more focused on calling out than coalition building. Lack of seniority. Critics argue she lacks the deep experience or consensus building skills to move big legislation through a divided Congress. Hot Wheels comment. In March 2025, she called Texas Governor Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels and a hot-ass mess. The comment sparked backlash, especially from Republicans who saw it as mocking a disabled person. Crockett insisted the comment referred to Abbott's migrant relocation policies, not his disability. A formal censure resolution was filed against her. Leadership bid withdrawal. Her bid to become ranking member on oversight and government reform was unsuccessful. Some saw this as a sign of limited support among peers. Policy trade-offs. Progressives argue she must push harder. Moderates say she should be more measured. Some constituents worry that rhetorical battles overshadow more tangible legislative wins. Balance between national profile and local service. As her national visibility increases, her critics argue she must ensure she doesn't lose touch with district-level needs, roads, schools, constituent cases, local infrastructure. Faith and denomination. Faith is part of her DNA. Jasmine Crockett is a Baptist, active in her church community from youth. The values of respect, service, accountability, and communal care are tied to her early church life and upbringing under her father's pastoral influence. While not always vocal about theological specifics, her faith seems to inform her moral compass, particularly in justice, human dignity, and public stewardship. She often references God or spiritual responsibility in speeches, not as political shield, but as a reference point for conscience. Personal reflection and public image. One of her defining traits is her ability to go viral, not from polished PR, but from moments that feel raw and real. Her back and forths with opposing lawmakers, her viral takes, her sharp sound bites, they capture attention.
Some see that as strength. Others see danger, polarization, style over substance. She draws particular loyalty from younger voters, women of color, and activists who see in her someone unafraid to challenge entrenched systems. But the spotlight also magnifies mistakes, missteps, and contradictions. Questions for listeners to ponder. Does a confrontational style help or hurt progress in a divided Congress? Should rising politicians prioritize legislative coalition over bold public statements, or both? How do faith and politics intertwine, and where must they be kept apart? When someone becomes a national figure, how do they stay effective locally? Does visibility bring accountability or vulnerability? And how should a public servant manage